Hello, and welcome to my Black Chins guide. This is, as far as I know, the fastest way to train Hunter. I haven't seen any good videos on this, so I thought I'd put one together. This guide is mainly intended towards max mains, or mains who are 120 combat or above. If you're a pure or a 3 combat account, then you're going to be using a different method, and I won't be covering that in here. Also, apologies for the clicking in the background as I commentate. I am doing the RD course in the background while I edit the video and record the commentary. But other than that, let's get started. Stat-wise, you want around 120 combat or higher. You also want high HP, preferably 99, and preferably 99 defense and 99 magic, although I don't have those two. You also want a good prayer level. 70 plus is fine, but I would also recommend 77 for the prayer augury. In addition to your main account, you'll also need an alternate account that has similar combat towards you, so that you can attack it in level 30 wilderness, preferably 120 combat or higher so that it doesn't get attacked by pures. You also want to have 80 range or higher, or at least a decent range level, so that you can shoot chins on it. And you also want a crystal bow on it, from Roving Elves. If you don't want to use a crystal bow, or you just don't want to do the quest for it, then you can just use a hunter crossbow with Kabet bolts or a magic short bow with steel arrows, although they will be slightly worse, and you'll also have to use an Ava's accumulator with them. So this is the gear loadout that I currently use for hunting black chins. It's a mix of melee defense and magic defense. You're going to want to find a good balance between those, and this setup is pretty good at doing that. The Spectral and Armadyl chestplate are quite good, and I recommend using them if nothing else. You also want a bulwark and a toxic staff, although you can skip the bulwark if you don't like the idea of 4-iteming in the wilderness. In addition, you can bring rune gloves and get rid of the Seer's ring, and also get rid of the Barrow's armor, swapping it for Nezi helm and black the-eyed legs if you want to reduce your risk even more. Right now this risk is about 1 mil, obviously unskulled and with protect item. Inventory wise, you should bring something similar to this. You should bring some kind of tick minute, preferably teak logs and a knife, or mahogany logs and a knife. You should use this over a herb and tar, even though it does the same thing, because it saves an invent space, as you don't have to bring a pestle and mortar. You should bring 12 brews and 4 super restores, as well as 1 stamina potion and 1 anti-venom plus potion. You should be fine bringing just 1 anglerfish, but if you feel the need you can bring more. You should also have some kind of one-click teleport that works at level 30 wilderness, and a good one for this is the Royal Seed Pod. You can buy a bunch of these after you've finished the Monkey Madness 2 quest, and if you don't have that done, then you can just use something else, like a Glory. I also recommend bringing only 2 box traps and then leaving 1 free invent space. This isn't required, and you can do it with just 1 box trap and no extra free invent space, but it makes the method a bit easier. Now for getting to Black Chins, you have a couple of options. The fastest way to get there is through the Hunter Cape teleport, but if you don't have 99 Hunter or you just ran out of teleports for the day, you're going to have to use a different method. The method that I currently use is teleporting to the Karolanger teleport. I use a teleport tab that you can just buy off the Grand Exchange, and it'll teleport you right to the Graveyard of Shadows, as you can see on the map by the sea icon. Another option is taking the canoe up from Edgeville. The only downside to this is that it does take a while to chop down the tree and make the canoe, as well as the trip taking some time itself. In addition, you also need to run from the Edgeville teleport or the Grand Exchange, and that can take a bit of time as well. Another option is a POH obelisk, and you can use that to teleport to the obelisk next to Black Chins. It's slightly northeast of Black Chins, and it's a fairly quick way of getting there if you have the construction to make that. Once you're actually at Chins, then you should just use the trap layout I have right here, where you place the box traps on the red circles. You're doing this so that you can trap 3 spawns at once, and you should keep in mind that this is only realistic with an alt shooting the Chins. Okay, so on to the actual hunting method. The basic idea is to use 1 tick hunter and use an alt to shoot the chins to make them spawn faster. I won't go too much into depth on 1 tick hunter. I'll link a video in the description so that you can learn it separately. The basic idea is that you can both move to another tile and place a box trap in the same tick, and if you're on a 3-tick cycle, you can instantly place a box trap, meaning the whole cycle is done in 3 ticks, and then you can just chain off of individual box traps. There are a couple ways to start a 3-tick cycle. The most basic is with something like Herb Tar or Teaks and Logs. A nice trick that you can see in this video is attacking your ult to start a 4-tick cycle. This is why you need your ult to be in the same combat range that you are. You don't have any ammo in your quiver, so you won't actually attack your ult and skull, but the 4-tick action can be started 1 tick before a box trap is ready to open, and then you'll be able to instantly place down a box trap and start chaining off other traps. When you're opening box traps on your main, you will have around 2 ticks of time where you won't need to do anything else, and you should use this time to click on the ult and shoot the chins as fast as they spawn in. The reason you should shoot them as soon as they spawn in and not wait until they go into the box trap is because they have a chance of going into the box trap as soon as they spawn, and shooting them won't cancel this, meaning even if you hit them, they'll still go inside the box trap and you won't have to worry about that. One last tip is that you should put both your main and your ult in the center tile as much as possible. The reason for doing this on your main is because it's the closest to all of the box traps. The reason for standing in the center on your ult is that it's a bit easier to see the chins, and it's also a bit easier to take manip of it on your main. So that's about it for the actual hunter method. It takes a while to get good at it and to be consistent enough with it, but once you do, you should maintain it fairly easily. Okay, so for the last part of this guide, I'm going to be covering how to survive both singles teams and rushers. Rushers are the easiest to deal with because you can just turn on your quick prayers. I recommend having Protect from Melee, Protect from Item if you need that, and also Piety. You should also drink a Sarah Brew and eat an Angler in the same tick, more specifically Angler 2 Brew, and also Restore just in case you get smited. If you keep your sounds on, you should be able to hear ballistas coming towards you, which is the most common way rushers attack you. They usually do a ballista to claws or some other spec weapon. Alright, so in this clip I get full TB'd by a singles team. The first thing that I do is I switch to my Toxic Staff and throw on the Protect from Magic. Protect from Magic only really matters if you're not already TB'd, so if someone's just frozen you and they're getting their TBR out, this is what you should do. Here it just slightly reduces the barrage damage, and when the spec runs out, then you should just switch to Protect from Melee for the rest of the whole fight. There's not too much you can do when you're frozen other than keep your health high. As long as you have your spec, you should be good to stay on Protect from Magic though. Here I have decent magic gear, so I am able to get a lot of splashes in, and I try to log out. Sometimes you can get gap and do this, but here I wasn't able to. So here I finally get frozen and decide to switch to my Bulwark, as well as Protect from Melee. It's very, very important that you keep Protect from Melee on for the rest of the fight. Otherwise you can easily just get hit a 70 and die, which is not fun. The basic strategy is to switch to your Bulwark and use Piety whenever you are frozen. Whenever you get unfrozen, switch to your Staff of the Dead and Spectral for the extra magic defense, as well as throwing on Augury and making sure you're restored up to full, so that you don't have any negative magic bonuses. There isn't too much else to say about tanking, so I'm just going to let the rest of the clip play. Another thing that you can do when escaping singles teams is running to hobgoblins. As you can see on the map here, hobgoblins are directly west of Black Chins. They're in the mining icon area. They're really useful for mid-sized teams that don't have cannons down there, because cannons definitely ruin this method. But doing this, you can get a box on a hobgoblin, or you can get the hobgoblins to PJ the people attacking you, and this can buy you valuable time to take off your 5-minute TB, and sometimes this can make a huge difference when you're trying to survive teams. One last thing that I want to say about surviving singles teams is that it can be a bit luck sometimes, and it will definitely come very close, and there will definitely be times where you do actually die, whether due to a mistake or just because they are very well organized. So that's about it for my Black Chins guide. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it really informative. If you have any questions or suggestions on something I said wrong or want me to add, then just let me know in the comments and I'll try to add it to the description.